Somehow, Ford have captured the essence of a wild stallion and stuffed it into this Mustang Bullitt, a muscle car that screams, "Look at me," with its captivating vocals and sleek design. Bullitt models were released in 2001, 2008 and now this 50th anniversary 2019 edition, all referencing that famous 68 GT that Steve McQueen drove in the film Bullitt. But could this be the best Bullitt model yet? We take a look at some of the features of the car and test out what space the Bullitt has to offer. Oh my gosh, what does it sound like? Woo! Woo! What's it like to drive? What's wrong with you English people? Come on, I'm in a Mustang! We race it against a direct competitor. 3, 2, 1, go! Two things I absolutely love are films and cars, and when these two collide, this is born, the Ford Mustang Bullitt. From that great 60s film, Bullitt of course, hence the name of Steve McQueen, where he drove a 68 GT. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around the car and we're going to look at some of the movie references, but also some of the other exclusive features to the Bullitt as well. So first off, you're going to notice this dark Highland green, the name of the colour. The similar kind of colour to the Highland green that Frank Bullitt drove in the movie. Now, we come to the front. Already we see these chrome accents, don't we? So we've got a chrome border around the grille, exactly the same as the movie. Oh, and what's this? No pony badge? No, because in the film, get it out of here, there's no pony badge. So we have to keep it the same. The front splitter is different. In the Bullitt as well, exclusive compared to the GT. These look like giant teeth. Yeah, giant teeth, just ready to sink in to its nemesis. Come down the side of the car, we've got the torque thrust design wheels, same as the movie reference, with the machine lip here, 60s throwback. The brakes are red here, Brembo brakes, 6 piston calipers, exclusive to the Bullitt with that colour red. Coming down the side of the car, where's the 5.0 litre badges, I hear you say? They're gone. Ripped off, get it out of here. It wasn't on the 68 GT in the film. The character Frank Bullitt was a detective. He had to keep a low profile. So the film, this car references the film and the character of that. So you have to rely on the lines of the car, the sleekness of it. It's a low profile car. We're going to move around to here. So these chrome detailings as well, borders round the passenger and driver's window. Same as the GT in the film. The only thing they've left off is the windscreen and the rear windscreen. There's no chrome accents there, where there were on the GT 68 in the film. I don't know why that's left off. I kind of would like to see how that would work visually. Maybe it looks a little bit more subtle like this. We're going to come around the back and you notice no spoiler. No spoiler here. Same movie reference as the 68 GT in the film Frank Bullitt drove. Again, keeping that low profile. Also on the car, there on the back bumper, there was chrome. No chrome here. We've got a nice Bullitt badge here, just so if you're driving behind the car, you go, what on earth's that? It's the Bullitt. And then right at the bottom, this is nice and flush and smooth, where other models have diffuser lines built in there. When I look at this car, I simply think it's got to be the same as if Steve McQueen were to lie on the floor on all fours, and flex his muscles. That's exactly what this car was built on. It just looks the same. Looks the same. Now on that visual note, let's pop inside the car and check out some of the features in there. Oh, here we go. Bullitt interior. Immediately I'm greeted with this gorgeous shiny white cue ball gear knob. Now, another reference to the film, but actually, is it? One says that the white cue ball was added after the film. If you watch the behind the scenes of the film Bullitt, actually had a stock shifter, but a very cool 60s reference anyway. Straight away, visually, looking forward, you've got this double cowl. Oh, that looks so good and old school. Bullitt badges on the steering wheel, just so you know you're in the Bullitt car. And then a Bullitt plaque over there with a number, and that is actually your chassis number. Other things in the car I think are cool, the green stitching throughout, referencing the dark Highland green of the car. You've got it on the seats. These are Recaro seats and the bolsters are good. They grab you well. These are electric on the bottom part. I'm playing with it now. But they are not electric if you want to move the rear of the seat, you've got a little manual handle down here. So could upset a few, maybe, perhaps. Cool little switches down here. These are fun to flick about and play with. Kind of remind me of like an aircraft. Oh, they're the hazards. And the infotainment display there with some questionable plastics. Leather throughout. Let's talk about the rear seats. 570 millimeters leg room, 820 millimeters headroom. Not much room for activities, but you will get some well-behaved children in the back. But that's about it. This sturdy manual handbrake. Some may say they might want a little auto handbrake, but I think it's a nice touch here. Center console's good. It's got a couple of drinks holders there and a little bit of storage space in the back because the door bins aren't that big. My favorite thing about the interior is the dash, the cluster display. And the only button you're going to need on this steering wheel is the pony button. It's the best button to have. So I'm going to press the pony button now and I'm going to show you around some of the settings. So we've got my mode. You can go into that, click show status, and this is where you can change the drive modes and see what's happening with the car, all the customizable stuff. And also, this is where you can see if you've got MagneRide, that £1,600 option for the suspension. So down here, you see where it says normal. If I change the car setting to Sport Plus, we will see that other parameters change. The exhaust goes to Sport, the steering goes to Sport, and your MagneRide goes to Sport. If you don't have this little suspension icon here, you don't have MagneRide. My opinion of the interior, it's good. There's certain elements I like, so I'm going to rate this a 3.5 car chat star rating out of 5. I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. It's time for the challenge to see how quickly my phone can connect to the infotainment of this Bullitt. So, start the timer now. Stop the timer, it's done. 33 seconds, that's not too bad. That puts it into second place behind the RS4 on our leaderboard. Right, it's time to take this Bullitt on the road to see what it's got. Oh, that V8 sounds good. So in this Mustang Bullitt, we have that naturally aspirated V8 5 litre, 453 brake horsepower and 529 Newton meters of torque. It is a little bit down on the BHP from the American variants. They come with 475, but obviously moving over to the right hand drive, we have to change a few of the mechanics underneath in that manifold. 9 brake horsepower more than the GT. It's got a new intake system from the GT350 and the Shelby Mustang, and a few little tweaks and tunes to the chassis, and the rest of it, well, let's find out what it can do. Right, here we are, we're on some country roads. I'm in a Mustang Bullitt, and whoa, and there's a van. I have to watch my positioning on the road. This is a wide car. This is a very wide car, and this thing starts getting fun just as you hit that 4,000 rev mark. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Whoa, and the road is getting narrow, and actually it's pretty responsive with the steering. You wouldn't think it. You're thinking muscle car, big woof, big wide body, it's only good for straight roads, but it's not. It's actually got some very responsive, log on the road, some great responsive turning of this wheel. Everything's in sport mode at the moment, so I've got sport mode steering wheel, so I'm getting a lot more feedback through the wheel. Just great for Mustang enthusiasts that love this kind of American muscle car. The sound of that V8, however, oh, you can't get over it. You just want to hear it over and over again. On the change down, you'll notice it's got that auto blip, so you sound like an absolute hero. I mean, there's a setting to turn off that auto blip, but why would you? Let's hear it again. Oh, every time you downshift into that gear, you get that nice woof. I'll tell you one thing I do love about this Bullitt is when you are cruising, when you're cruising on them lower speeds, you're looking good, you're still getting the looks, you're hearing the hum of that V8, but you're not absolutely blasting it around corners, and it's a bit more of an experience. Shifting through this little notchy short throw gearbox is lovely. You've got to take your time with it, you don't want to rush it. And it's actually quite nice to just cruise in this Mustang, thinking you're Steve McQueen. Cyclists, hello, let's wave. They didn't wave back. What's wrong with you English people? Come on, I'm in a Mustang. So when you're driving this Bullitt, you do have to be aware of that weight balance going into those corners. You can feel that weight of the roll. This thing weighs 1851 kilograms, if my calculations are correct from my scales at home. No, I'm joking, I got it from the Ford webpage. And also, it's 23.9 miles per gallon combined. Does it do that? I'm not quite sure. I'm looking at the fuel gauge and the miles do go down. It's a V8, remember. It's a thirsty thing.
Let's get this Bullitt parked up and explore that noise.
It's time to hear what this V8 5 litre sounds like. We're going to put it in sport mode on the exhaust because that's the loudest setting. Turn up your volume max and let's hear it right now. Go on, ads, light her up. Oh. Go on, ads, give it some beans. Woo! Woo! Sports mode. Very nice. Okay, cool. Shut that down. Wow, there you go. That's what V8 5 litre gets you. Let us know what you think about the exhaust in the comments below.
Time to get back on the road.
So we spoke a little bit earlier about MagneRide, which is a Ford £1,600 suspension option. And to know whether you've got it, you can check on that dash like we said about. Now what MagneRide is, it's got electric sensors and this adaptive suspension dampening system. So all those sensors feed back data thousands of times per second, adapting that suspension, allowing the ride a lot smoother and to eliminate that pitch and roll. And the key word is magna, so it works on magnets. So basically, in crude terms, you've got magnetorheological fluid in the dampening system, which means oil and iron elements react when two electromagnets go off, changing the viscosity levels of that fluid, which then allows the stiffness of that suspension to react. So it's pretty good. It's up to you if you want to shed that £1,600, but it definitely helps in this Mustang Bullitt. Oh yes, that's a good corner. I feel like a movie star. So the Mustang Bullitt costs you around £49,000. If we look at other competitors around that price bracket, you're looking at an M2 competition around 52k, a Toyota Supra, a bit more of an all-rounder at 52k as well, and then a Jaguar F-Type Coupe starting from around £54,000. The Mustang is kind of in a category in itself if you're thinking about American muscle sports car. There isn't that many other muscle cars that we can take from America, and I'm pretty sure if we did, they're all going to be left-hand drive. So this right-hand Bullitt and the GTs that Ford do are our only kind of opportunity and experience to feel that heritage, that American muscle vibe that is so popular in America.
With not much space in the Bullitt's rear seats, it's time to see if the boot space is similar.
The boot. Ford say this has 408 litres of boot space, but I want to see that in visual terms. Can an Ollie get in the boot? Let's find out. Oh my gosh, I don't want to dirty this shirt. Oh, lots of noises. It's low here. Okay, subwoofers here. To be fair, it's not the comfiest of boots I've been in, but actually there is some room. There is some room, but as you can see, I've got my very masculine legs here tucked together. But visual reference, if you want to know what 408 litres of boot space looks like, feast your eyes.
Time for me to get back on the road, looking smooth and sophisticated like a young Steve McQueen, and carve up this English countryside.
Some say, is this a dying breed of car? You probably could say yes. Mustang is the only one, especially in Europe and the UK, that's still predominant. We don't have the old school Camaros, the Corvettes, the Pontiacs, and they're not making any modern versions, especially movie cars like this. So Mustang is our only example and choice really for us to experience that American muscle heritage and this modern version. We may think, oh, it's a muscle car, it's only good for straight roads, it can't do corners. Actually, that's not the case. The handling is pretty good. It's responsive. I can throw it into corners. And do you know what? Yeah, this car isn't going to get you the fastest lap times, but I'll tell you something, it might just give you the biggest smile. Mummy! So Ford say that this Mustang Bullitt can do 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. Well, I'll be the judge of that when we test this beauty later. Right, so it's time for the 0 to 60 to see what this Ford Mustang Bullitt can do. So without further ado, let's get it. Okay. Oh, that's a little bit better. What we got? 5.7 seconds. Now, the thing is, I feel like I'm launching it the best I can do. That was a great pull away, but Ford's saying it's 4.6 seconds. And that seemed pretty good to me, but 5.7 seconds, oh, there's a little bit of a discrepancy there.
Not happy with my time, I decided to have a few more attempts to really try and push for a better time. And we found out that the onboard 0 to 60 timer didn't actually stop at 60 miles per hour. So as we slow down the footage here, we can see our best time was 5.1 seconds, which I think is the most realistic time you're going to get for this car.
One thing I love about this Bullitt is I just love to cruise, sit back, listen to the V8. It just seems gorgeous. Oh, hello, Adam and his M2. Actually, this would be a good race. This would be a great comparison. BMW M2, 3-litre turbo against a V8 5-litre naturally aspirated. But it doesn't just end there. The Mustang weighs 1,851 kilograms. The BMW weighs 1,495 kilograms. Bit of a weight difference there. I believe that's 356 kilograms difference, which is the equivalent of 4 people weighing 14 stone in my car. It doesn't seem that fair. All right, it's a big weight difference. But the Mustang has 453 brake horsepower, 529 newton meters of torque. It's more power, more torquey. The BMW M2, 365 bhp and 465 newton meters of torque. They're all the numbers. Let's just get on and race. So what we're going to do, a rolling race. The Bullitt versus the M2. We're going to go side by side in second gear, exactly parallel to each other. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1 on the walkie, and then we'll find out which one pulls away quicker, the Bullitt or the M2. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, that M2 has just got so much go. I'm not gonna catch him. That second gear is just so quick. This just waits a little bit longer, and it gets to 4,000 rev, and then it goes. Mate, I put it in sport mode and everything. What happened? This thing's too heavy. Your second gear is just a monster. I can't. It's just too heavy, mate. You're too agile. Without second gears, you're just gone. So there we have the Mustang Bullitt. We've done quirky challenges. We put it through a 0 to 60 test. We've done the interior, the exterior, just to summarize. But what do we love about it the most? Well, smashing this thing in a straight line is the most fun you can have with your clothes on, that's for sure. The look of this car is absolutely gorgeous. You're not going to get a car that looks this sexy for 49 grand. No siree. 3, the sound of that V8. Mwah! Mamma mia. It sounds unbelievable. The cons. The power delivery does feel a little bit off, especially when you're trying to go into those corners and you want to get that power down. It does take a while to get going. 2, the V8's thirsty. It's gonna drink a lot of fuel. And 3, there's a few questionable plastics in around that infotainment screen. But hey, that's just our opinions. We'd love to know yours. Don't forget, throw us a cheeky like, comment down below and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.